Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. I'm Mika. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. Welcome. We're going to be talking about spring love magic um, in meaningful, non romantic ways. And the reason I wanted to talk about this topic is because one, I'm gonna be it's a light topic, but the meaning behind it is super heavy. We're at a time right now where we need to focus on love collectively. All of us. We all need to focus on love. Self love, and I want to take away the concept of just only focusing on romantic love, which, by the way, is great. I don't see anything wrong with that. I meant to grab my other glasses. Dang it, Mika. Because I forget I get a glare on these. But anyway, I don't want to just focus on romantic love, although that's great and that's beautiful. I just want to talk about all different other types of love that exist that a lot of us have access to and can be very fulfilling in our lives, and the magic about that. So, like self love and passion project and spiritual connection, and there's love in that. And with that, there's power. So, I'm definitely going to talk about that. But before I get too deep into this topic, because we're going to hit a lot of different points, I do just want to point out to you that I do have the Book of Shadows for the Love Witch. It's available. Um, right now, you can go to my website, leaptaken.com, and you can purchase it there. Also, it's available on the TikTok shop. So I've been selling on a TikTok shop. It's also available at Amazon if you want to go to Amazon as well. So I'm now available in three places. My website, leaptaken.com. The links are in the description. Amazon, and then of course if you go to the TikTok shop, which by the way I could not link. I don't know what that was about. All of the books that I offer, the Hoodoo Grimoire is available there, and the Book of Shadows for the Hearth Witch. They're all available now on all three platforms: Amazon, TikTok shop, and my leaptaken.com, my website. So please, if you're interested, go ahead and check that out. Go to my website if you prefer there. Either way, I'll get it to you as soon as you order it, basically, because I have stock. Hello, Insky. I have stock. So this is so exciting for me. By the way, hey, Gemstones. I'm so happy that I'm able to do this. And the other thing I want to just put up front. So Friday is the class for practical magic for advanced witches, and it's $25. It's taking place this Friday, April 4th, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please feel free to check that out. Leaptaken.com. It's right there on the main page, and you'll be able to sign up for that. So go ahead and sign up for that as well. So that's going to be a really fun class, and we're going to kick things up like several notches about practical magic. So we're going to take common themes, but we're going to deepen it. Um, for those of us who maybe we're a little not as enchanted with our craft anymore, maybe we're getting bored, maybe we're just beginning, or maybe we've kind of reached a baseline where we feel like we kind of know everything, but it's just as humdrum. You don't have anything special going on. You want this course. This course is going to help reinvigorate your craft, reinvigorate your ideas about witchcraft and so forth. So take the course. Go ahead. Anyway, so yeah, that's available on the website. $25, not crazy, because it's a practical magic class. So I wanted to be practical. So I wanted it to be accessible as well, easily accessible. So anyway, so I want to get into this topic. I have my notes because I will veer off. But seriously, though, I feel like love is going to be the revolutionary act to so many of the things that are currently happening in our world. I mean, there's things happening in the United States, but there's things happening globally. And when I say love, the power that love can bring, the love of self, the love of your path, the love of magic, the love of your family, the love of, whatever it is, your passions, can bring about a level of power that you can be unstoppable. And I truly believe this. And this is part of magic. So let's get into the topic. I got my notes. Okay. So when we say love magic, We tend to jump right into romantic partners. I want, hey, as well. Oh, did I say hi, Dylan? Sorry. Anyway, before I say hi, before I get into this, I just want to say this. There's nothing wrong with romantic love. You can do powerful spell work. You can work powerful magic, especially with a romantic partner who is aligned with it as well. You can do wonders, but we're not talking about that right now. There's nothing negative. I have nothing negative to say about that. We're just not focusing on that right now. In case anybody's like, well, what about? We're not talking about that. But love is so much bigger than only romantic love, right? Spring is the season of blossoming and rebirth and love energy. I feel like love is that energy that fuels growth. And I think about tending a garden. And I currently in my windowsill, I have in my spring equinox ritual, I planted some basil. So I wanted to focus on prosperity. But for that to grow, I have to be in tune with the energy of the seeds and the routine of, making sure it's a nice environment, sun, and water. And that's a level of love and care that I have to put into it. It's all tied in because I'm tying manifestations to that prosperity, to those seeds, and now to that plant, and they're budding right now. This is my windowsill, and I feel I almost get emotional every morning that I look. When I first saw the green coming out, I get emotional because that's magic to me. And I know it can be explained through science, but that doesn't mean it's not magic to me. And it's just because my act of love in nurturing the seeds to plant is why it grew, which then I've assigned the manifestations, the spell to it during the ritual. So this is just magic on another level, and I'm always impressed. I never stop being impressed by all of that. So I wanted to. That's when I got this idea for the video, the topic, thinking about that plant, thinking about spring and love and all that sort of stuff. So I want to jump in. So this is I'm going to be giving you a lot of tips. So we're going to start with self love magic. So one of the things that I like to do is daily mirror affirmations and ritualize it. So you stand or sit in front of your mirror each morning and you speak out. With this being spring, I have a little something. I would say, I bloom in my own time. I am worthy of the life I'm building. My heart is open to receiving love in all of its forms. Okay, I'll say it again. I bloom in my own time. I am worthy of the life I'm building. My heart is open to receiving love in all its forms. Now, if you want, you can use some rose water, a spray, and anoint your heart with some rose oil as well, or whatever oil that you make. I have a lot of good ideas in this book as well to get you started, and I suggest you write your own recipes in there as well, and your own tips and affirmations and whatever else you're going to use. But I have a spray for my hair and stuff like that. Oddly enough, I like rose, but I also like mint when it comes to like my scalp because it feels invigorating, and I kind of work with it with mint as well. Okay, so that's the daily mirror affirmation ritual. Then there's what I'm calling a spring self love bath ritual, and that's where roses are a big part of this, by the way. Rose petals, jasmine, which I found you can buy in bulk, and I buy it for tea. So I like. By the way, hint. Let me stop for a second. When you're getting, if you're not growing it yourself and you want like dried flowers and things like that, make sure you get the edible kind. That way, you don't have to worry about it like on your skin unless you have an allergy. And also you can consume it if you want. If you want to make something into a tea, you can. So I have jasmine flowers. I bought it in bulk some while back, and I can use it in tea, but I use it in my spell work. And then I can use it for things that I'm applying to my skin. So make sure you get the kind that's edible. Read, because things are for sale and you don't know. Like I know currently the TikTok shop is selling. I'm seeing ads, but I know Amazon was selling it for a while. You know those witch kits? I talked about it here on this channel before because I just wanted to see what was in it, and I bought one and reviewed it. And they'll come with all these herbs. I never could find information either way. if it was something that could be consumed, because you have to check that, because are you making a tea with it, are you trying to are there pesticides basically? Like what's the deal with the dried herbs? And a lot of people are not, though I noticed it didn't say either way, which I didn't make an assumption, so I've never consumed it. I've only used it for like incense and oils and things like that, that I like anoint a candle with, but not that I apply to my skin or like my hair or anything like that. Just a tip about that. Okay, so a spring self love bath ritual. You want to get some rose petals, some jasmine, orange peel, and some pink Himalayan salt, which is, these things are accessible, right? And you want to use this to release the winter stagnation and welcome soft, powerful love for yourself. When you're doing any of these rituals, you want to just set the tone. I say, aromatherapy is kind of my thing, so I want the whole space to smell a certain way. Greetings. I want the whole space to smell a certain way, so I want to already have like the candle going. Um, I'm gonna have my space kind of set up. Make sure like your bed's made so that when you get out, you can anoint yourself with your oils, your lotions, your creams, and it just kind of set the whole ambiance. But these are things I don't think that you can only do when you have time. I think you can kind of build this in and make it a ritual every time you're bathing, right? It doesn't maybe have to be a long period of time, like an elaborate amount of time, but you can build it up. But I'm just giving you ideas. um, and then there's the self-love jar, or a little pouch or something like that, and you can kind of fill it up with like what you call self-loving herbs, and rose quartz, lavender, that's my thing, rosemary also my thing, and a written affirmation. um, with this and the next thing I'm going to tell you, which is a charm bag, you want to carry these things, not the jar, well, unless it's small enough, but you want to carry it with you when you're feeling disconnected. Um, I talk about this. This is something I keep here. It's just this was actually gifted to me. My daughter bought this for me, and it's in a heart shape, and it's like my stress ball, but it's crystal. But I use it. But the love that she has for me, love, the power of love. Um, I feel like that's in here, and I just like when I squeeze it. I don't know. I just feel like it's one, just the act of squeezing it is letting it out. Very Aries of me. The aggression has to come out, but it's hard enough to withstand that. But I feel like I'm getting something off of it as well. You can do that. Well, maybe not squeeze, but with a charm back, you can hold it in your hand and just kind of hold it or smell it or something like that. The aromatherapy, the sense of smell, just engage your senses, essentially touch, smell. Um, it can help bring you back and connect you with that intention. So these aren't things that you're just having for no reason. And, it's like, well, they're not really working. Just looking at it doesn't work. You have to connect with the energy that you put into it when you set it up. That's the real magic right there. You're aligning with that. So when you're feeling disconnected from self, or and feeling disconnected is feeling anxiety, overwhelmed, um, um, you're feeling down on yourself, maybe the way you look, or you're not feeling good enough, whatever it is, that emotion, that's what you're going to want to use these things for. Right now, a lot of us, because of, again, this is a light topic, but it's coming from a heavier place, um, with all the things that are happening, people losing their income, losing their job, or the stock market and the free fall, and people who invest in even like 401ks, and all the things that are supposed to set a level of stability so that you can focus on magic and all the other stuff. Well, when that's in a tizzy, and you're trying to look for work, and you're trying to find ways to still maintain your lifestyle, um, you know you you need these little bags, these jars, these rituals and things like that are very helpful, um in a world where you feel like not much else you can only do so much. When everything is basically going crazy, you can love on yourself, especially if sometimes the people around you aren't meeting you as well, and you can't put all of your wants and needs on another person, romantic partner or not. Um, there's something in our society where we believe that, I think that that's the fairy tale, especially told to women, that we should be able to just kind of put everything on this partner, and that's what it is. My best friend, my partner, they're supposed to know me before I know myself and all this stuff. And it's like, we're humans, y'all. We're humans. Did your partner tell you they were psychic? No, they didn't. That man didn't tell you he was psychic. Don't do that. Don't do that. You've got to have something. And I think a lot of people approach friendships, because it's not even, again, we're not talking just romantic, but I think people approach friendships that way as well. I do kind of see that. Now, I've had a best friend in my life since I was 14 years old. We've gone through iterations and we kind of figured it all out. But no one person can be everything all the time when you need them. We have our own stuff, let alone, a romantic partner. But like, you can't put that all on somebody else. So I'm helping you with the season of spring and the magic that comes with it. The point of this is to help you, the person, the witch, the practitioner, or honestly anybody could work this, so that you can start working on self and you can kind of build up yourself, and you don't have to constantly be looking for somebody else to do that for you, because sometimes other people can't. We all have the capacity, and you never know when somebody's reached their capacity. Doesn't mean they don't really love you or care about you. They just don't have more to give to you. They're trying to get through their own thing. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? An anointing spell. So I like this one. Get some jojoba oil with rose and lavender essential oils. You want to anoint your heart center in the morning, and you would say, especially for those, listen, I am soft, I am strong, I am sacred. So for those wanting this more soft life and more life of ease, but at the same time, it doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you don't want to be, in survival mode all the time. I am soft. Yes, I am strong, and I'm sacred. I love that. I love saying that and just anointing myself with those words every morning. I'm big on affirmations, by the way. Now let's talk about love for your creative passion. This is where I personally excel. Um, so love isn't always about people, right? And I gave the example with my plant. You like that sunflower and thistle? Yeah. It can be about purpose. It can be about purpose. So a passion spell, or a passion project spell candle, you can make something like that. I would suggest like a yellow or an orange candle. Use cinnamon or clove or both, and just a touch of honey. You want to carve out your creative goal into the candle. If you're using a glass candle, even better, because you can write it on there. You can write whole sentences on a glass candle, just write it out, everything. And you want to light it each time, or every time, I should say, you work on your dreams. So for somebody like me with writing and things like that, um, I I like having a candle going. Sometimes when I'm doing the lives, you don't see it, but I'll have like a candle working in the back of me. Usually my chair is covering it. That's intentional. um, or I like to have certain crystals or things like that around me as well. And I'm just going more. There's nothing specific, just whatever calls to me. I'll just pick up a certain crystal or something like that, and I'll just put it on my desk. And but I usually keep crystals around. I'm looking for my other one. Like, where's the other? I don't know. I moved some stuff around. I was like, I keep a clear quartz over here, but I don't know what I did with it. And like a tarot card or something like that, I keep that around. Um, and I'll just designate it for that purpose and things like that. But a candle, for sure. I do work a candle almost all the time to help with like just for growth relief. Taken um, for, like I said, for my writing, when I want to do any sort of like craft project or something like that. When I'm working in my book of shadows, my grimoires and things like that, I like to light a candle, and because that's a passion project for me. And it's not about money or anything like that. It's just like to help the creative flow. Yeah, I like doing that. So then there's a spring altar for creativity. I love this. So you can add tools, colors or items that represent your creative work. So if you're a writer, maybe you want to, do something with book covers or something like that. Print them out, and you can like print them out on like cardstock, put them on popsicle sticks, and kind of make like a bouquet or something like that of like these titles. And maybe they're titles that one day you want to write. I've been thinking about doing this project. So titles that you're creating, and you just see your name on them at the bottom. This does something to you, by the way. You can create like a spring altar for creativity. Or if you're someone who maybe it's maybe your thing is I'm thinking my own writing, painting. You can do little images of that, and the same thing, make like a bouquet of it, of like it's flowers or something like that. um yeah, you can do all kinds of sorts of things like that and set it up for your spring altar for creativity. And it doesn't have to be elaborate and large. You can just do a little something. You can have like fake flowers and stick that in it, and that's part of your altar. And put like a tea light and maybe like a glass of water or a vessel of water or something like that. Another thing, which I'm loving this ritual, I thought about this one: marry your dream ritual. Marry your dream ritual. So write a vow to your craft, read it out loud, and place it like in a special box or an envelope, seal it with wax or a ribbon or something like that. So you're right, like marriage vows, so but to your dream. So if you're very committed to something, again, I'll use myself as an example, with writing and things like that. But let's say you want to start YouTube. Let's say you want to start sharing, your witchcraft or whatever it is that you want to share, or you want to grow it more. You can sort of make a vow to that, because it's a craft, right? And you can make it your own vow and read it out, and put like get parchment paper, or maybe you want to put, whatever kind of paper you want, and put it in an envelope or a box, a special box. You want to paint the box, maybe you want to decorate it, and you just make it a whole project. You can tell I like crafts, right? Because I'm always going to give you a craft idea. I really like crafts. Um, and then another thing about the passion project. So this is a passion project ritual. So you can write a love letter, kind of on the same thing with the vow. So write a love letter to your dream or project. Um, I would burn orange, maybe a gold candle with your project's name carved into it, or again, if it's glass, write it and say something like, I give my love freely to what sets me ablaze. And again, these are your passion projects. So if you want to do this ritual, but I love that, writing a love letter, or to your dream or your project. And this can translate to you be passionate about this dream life that you want, whatever that looks like, and you really want to focus on that. That's something that you should do as well. I think I'm getting a note. Sorry guys, I'm waiting for a set of books to come in, my books to come in, and I'm just double checking because ever since things got weird, with some of these places, Amazon and such, like my deliveries, although this is USPS, they're saying, I mean, I've gotten two deliveries delivered to the wrong place. One of them was returned. I don't even know what that was about. Anyway, yeah, they returned it. One of my neighbors got, it was a birthday gift actually, somebody sent to me. Another was something else, but yeah, my number was written on it, like my house number. And yeah, I don't know what, and I saw, oh, I'm so mad. And the person that sent it to me showed me the picture of the porch. I'm tempted to go around and look on their, like, figure out which house it was. I see the color, but I'm gonna keep it chill. I'm just stalking people. Back to love. Anyway, speaking of spiritual love and connection to magic. So a heart chakra connection practice. So like lie down, and I love this because I use Reiki, but lately I've been doing it more myself than anybody else. But yeah, it works. So lie down with like rose quartz or green aventurine on your heart. You want to breathe in deeply and visualize. Now you can do any light that you feel comfortable with, but I say a green light blooming like a spring flower. Remember, we're working with spring energy. Um, Now I take this a step up because it's me. I do that, but I'll do something like that, and I'm like using my hands as if like a flow. But again, I do Reiki, so I kind of use my hands and make it seem like it's flowing, and then I'm really good at visualization and things like that. Um, but if that's not your bag, another thing you do is journal and write it down in any of your book of shadows. But journaling prompts for spiritual love. So, one thing you want to ask yourself: what does spiritual connection feel like to me? I think that's a really good question. What does spiritual connection feel like to me? Another one is: where have I lost faith or joy in my practice? What would it look like to fall back in love with my own magic? What would that look like? And that's a great thing to write about. This can turn into a scripting exercise as well. What would it look like to fall back in love with my own magic? At one point, or probably several points in my practice, I kind of felt, I say disenchanted, but I guess the right thing is like you kind of fall a little bit out of love with it, right? And I wasn't doing anything. I didn't follow any moon phases. I didn't really pay attention to much of anything. Um, and I can definitely say when those times happen, it's usually something not great happening and, happening at the same time. You said this is a good question, right? Usually, think about it. If you kind of fall a little bit of out of love with the practicing magic and witchcraft and anything under that umbrella, usually there's something else happening. It's not. It's something else. There's another reason. It doesn't have to be this catastrophic life event, but let's just be honest. There's something else going on. Depression. Some other stuff. Or you're overworked. You're busy. There's reasons. Motherhood, if you're a first time mother or father, and life just changed drastically, so you can't even really you don't feel like you can focus on anything else. um so what would it look like to fall back in love? It usually has something to do with what made you fall in love in the first place, so start thinking there when you first got into it. The goal, in my opinion, as somebody who's answered this question to themselves at different points, is not to recreate what was, but to be inspired by what made you fall in love in the first place and use that inspiration to move forward and learn to recognize opportunities in front of you. For instance, I'm doing a practical magic class for advanced witches, which can help you fall back in love. Also, a good question to aim towards self. Yeah, yeah. Um, falling in love with self. What would it look like to fall back in love with yourself if you feel disconnected from self? That's a good question. Yeah. And then offerings to the self. Self or spirit. Light a candle, leave a small plate of fruit or flowers on your altar. Not to ask, but to say thank you to your spirit guides, ancestors, or just yourself. I'm big on that. My goal is to fall in love with myself every day. Um, as we're getting older, as life is lifing, as things changing. Some of us, you get some gray hair. Some of us get grays early. I did. My daughter, my daughter has like a gray streak. She got like early 20s. Actually, I don't even think she was 20 yet, and she had just a gray streak right here. That's her. But for some of us, if we didn't have grays, and then you start seeing that, just the aging process alone gets you that. Or like I said, just life. If you're working all the time, or you're studying and working, and you're raising families, or or you're taking care of others. Sometimes we don't we neglect ourselves, and then one day you're looking at yourself, like you watch this, you say, okay, I'm going to try these affirmations, and you're really looking at yourself in the mirror. You're like, my goodness, what have I done? I've been there. What is happening with my face? And you really look at yourself. um Pause, say the affirmations. This might be a time to get a little offering to yourself. Maybe you want to get yourself some fresh flowers. If you can't do fresh flowers, maybe you want to arrange some fake Dollar Tree candles. Flowers, and just kind of set it up in a space. For me, I have a makeup vanity. I have my bathroom counter. I've got different places I can set up this offering to me. but like something that you identify and kind of connect with beauty and things like that, vitality. Usually you want something live like fresh flowers, but again, if it's not possible, you can get something that mimics it. I got a step for you. If none of that is possible, on your phone, I would do a screensaver that could become, we're in a modern time. We got to get with the times. You can do a screensaver, something that you set that when you look at it, you can connect with it and you consider that an offering to self because it's your phone. You get to look at it, right? Same thing at work, whatever, your computer, whatever, iPad or tablet or whatever. Set up something that looks like fresh flowers or something like that. And it's a devotion to you. It's an offering to you for your beauty, the beauty out and within. We're falling in love. Okay, so now we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit, and I want to talk about moon magic for self and spiritual love. I love the screensaver idea. Yeah, we got to get it in where we can. Realistically, you might want to do this, but you don't have access to fresh flowers right now. Maybe money's tight. Or you're just not gonna go get fresh flowers for whatever reason. You're gonna, it's not gonna work in your household. I know some people with pets and things like that. That just doesn't fly. Screensaver. There you go. That's your answer. And you can make that into your altar, your digital altar. Okay, so I use the full moon as a great time for me to do releasing work. But also you can focus on like what needs to be loved and accepted or released, working with full moon energy. So if you're in a position, stand in the moonlight or by a window, holding a mirror, you want to say, I release the idea that I am not enough. I reflect only love back to myself. I like this one a lot. I'll say it again. I release the idea that I am not enough. I reflect only love back to myself. You can burn a bay leaf or something like that if you want to do something more, with limiting beliefs written on it. This one's, it can be done. I mean, you can do this mirror spell in general, but working with the full moon as well, it's a really good time to do the releasing like this, especially like a lot of us have limiting beliefs. A lot of us, even if, and I feel like society kind of like media, social media, honestly, the people around you can reinforce that. So even if you thought you were cool, you thought, no, I conquered all that, I'm fine. And then like, something happens and then it's reignited again, unfortunately. So this is an aspect you can add to your full moon rituals. A full moon water infusion. So you can charge a jar of water with rose quartz and your favorite herbs, lemon balm or mint. I love mint. And you can drink it as a self-blessing. I would not put the rose quartz. I never do the stones in the water thing. I'm looking. I have something that I bought. So I use this. So I actually just dumped the water out, so it's empty. But this is something I got a while back. So you put the crystals in the bottom, and you fill this up with water, so they're infused. The crystals aren't actually touching the water, but this is a good thing to use as well. I like this, and this unscrews this bottom, and you can put whatever crystals you want. When I bought this, it came with its own set of crystals, but I put my own in here. Rose quartz, amethyst. I got a whole, yeah. It looks like I got selenite in here, moonstone, tiger's eye, because I'm doing like a coverall basis type thing with my water. But I used this, that it was moon water actually. And I used this for my plant, my seeds that I planted. Another good thing to do that. You kind of just take the magic further. When you do this. This is a great time for planting spells, by the way. Do the planting spells. Get a little seed packet, a little bit of dirt, and a pot, and plant your intentions as well. But yeah, get a bottle or something like this. This is good for that. Because I'm never putting crystals. I don't care. There was like, oh, some crystals are safe. It doesn't matter. I'm never going to do it. I don't trust it. I'm never going to do that. All right. So there's that. And then So let's talk about the new moon. So setting intentions for inner love. So a new moon shadow love spell. So you want to write one thing you've judged yourself for, then burn it in a fire safe bowl. Write how you'll honor and love part of yourself moving forward. And again, this is to inspire a lot of self love over here, which we want, right? Um, I realized, okay, try to do a creative project, try to do something where you plan to introduce it to the public, and you'll find out that you are very judgy to yourself. Because I know I did. I've had to, this is not coming from no place, by the way. This is something I've had to be working on, um, because I really didn't know until I tried to do something, like writing and taking out to the public, that man, I was really hard on myself, like really hard on myself, and not giving myself enough grace, which was really stripping me of like the enjoyment of the creative process, because I was just so judgy about like how I did things, how I put things, like my thought process. Which, by the way, I stood still. I couldn't move forward. So these spells and rituals and things I'm talking about, I mean, they were super helpful to me. It's not something that you're going to do them every time, but you're just going to pick one and try to work it, and then I would try something else and try to work that. But the culmination of all this, I was helped, especially the affirmations. I was really helping myself kind of get over that. Then there's, of course, the new moon candle ritual. You carve your name into a white candle, anoint with honey. Now, you can do a black candle with this as well, but white, just because everybody can get that. Anoint with a little bit of honey, and you want to say, from the dark, I am reborn. I am worthy of love in every form. I like to say things 3 times. From the dark, I am reborn. I am worthy of love in every form. From the dark, I am reborn. I am worthy of love in every form. Okay? So, a lot of times, though, hoodoo or, folk magic and things like that, when you talk about like love magic, a lot of people only focus on the romantic stuff, like, oh, I want to get my partner, I want to get my partner to stop cheating, or I want to get this attraction and all that sort of stuff. So let's take this from a non-romantic approach. So like a sweet jar for self-love and favor. Um, Brown paper. Write your name 3 times on that brown paper. Fold it with a little bit of sugar, some cinnamon, maybe a touch of your favorite perfume. You want to put this in a small jar. Pour a little honey or maple syrup over it. You want to light a pink or white candle on top. I do this on a Friday, Venus Day, for 3 weeks. And this is to sweeten your relationship with yourself, um, the spirits, and the others around you, but your relationship with yourself. So if you've been pretty hard on yourself, this might be more of your situation, especially if you're kind of more into hoodoo, or like I said, working in sort of folk magic or things like that. This is a good one. And if you're familiar with like a sweetening jar spell, this is something you probably is a little bit more accessible, and you might feel more comfortable doing something like this versus the bath rituals and all that sort of stuff. I know some people, it's not their thing, so I wanted to meet everybody where they are. Another thing, now this is an attraction mojo bag, but for opportunities and self-respect. So you want some magnetic sand, cinnamon, basil, lodestone. Dress it with an attraction oil. Carry it during when you're doing work with to gain sort of any recognition or love from community or spiritual favor. The key to this thing is you gotta believe you deserve it. You gotta believe you deserve it. We're not looking outside to affirm. We're looking at to gain recognition for a specific thing. So like if you're on social media, you want recognition because you want, more views and things like that. Love for community. If you're trying to ingratiate yourself in a community because you want to do community work and things like that, you need people to trust you, to like you. It's not to affirm for self. It's because you already feel confident and strong in that. This is going to be a thing where it's for a purpose, right? And spiritual favor, you're talking to certain spirits, you're working with certain deities or entities and things like that. You would like them to like you back, not because you dislike yourself. You're not looking for them to affirm your, the like and the love. No, it's to attract. Excuse me, attract. Mm, this has been happening. I think my allergies are kicking up here. Dylan should tell me. Is this something here happening? We do what pollen? We don't have. I mean, we have some trees, but it's been happening more and more. Just the cough. I don't know what's going on here in Arizona, but that's why I had the water ready. All right, and another one, an ancestor love letter. So you want to write a petition to your ancestors asking for their guidance and protection as you learn to love yourself. You want to leave a little water, like candle, whatever candle you choose, and maybe even a little food offering if you feel comfortable with that. But the petition to your ancestors asking for their guidance and protection as you learn to love yourself. That's a really endearing thing. You said I've been fine. All right, so it's just me. Okay, cool. Just me. All right. Now to my fellow cottage witches and hearth witches. So our magic kind of lives in the home and daily life, kind of more in the tangible. So for us, spring cleaning love spell. That's my definitely my jam. Clean your home. If you want to use a floor wash, you made with maybe a little bit of rose water, lemon, rosemary. I don't. Some people say cinnamon. I don't. No, I'm not putting cinnamon in the floor wash, but I do like rosemary, lemon, anything citrusy or herbal. I'm cool with that. Here's the caveat: I like to still use store bought cleaners, and I just add that to it. Some people I've seen some people just use that, and that's cool. But I think it was the way I was raised and the way I was brought up. There are certain things I can't let go. So I'm going to still use the store bought cleaner and I'm going to use it with it. But as you mop, it's all intention. As you mop, you want to just say, like, I welcome in love, joy, and calm into every corner of my home, which is something I do. I tried to never clean angry because I feel like you're putting that energy into your home. A kitchen love candle. You can light a candle while cooking, sort of whisper your intentions into your food, stir clockwise, and saying, I am loved, I am nourished, I am whole, especially for those of us who are trying to eat a more whole foods diet, more nourishing, good for us food, good to us and good for us food. I am loved, I am nourished, I am whole. That's something good to say. Um, a Hearth Witch Grimoire spell, so you can write a page in your book of shadows dedicated to what you love about your path. Of course, anybody could do this, but you include photos, some pressed flowers. I'll be doing this, by the way. Pressed flowers or symbols of like hearth energy. This can become like a talisman page, radiating love back to you. I'm all for putting altars in books and things like that. And when you open up, that becomes that space. It doesn't matter if you can do it around you or not. It's in there for that specific purpose. Like you could set up a love altar in your book. You could set up another type of altar, ancestor altar, or, or what I love about this path altar, or something like that. But set up those pages and just spend time just setting it up and collecting the items that you really love about your path and put it in your book. That's so much love happening right there, and you'll feel it. So when you come back to that page and you kind of need that boost, you will be able to just get that energy. That's the magic right there, by the way. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you feel like, how am I going to get the energy? You ever look at a picture? If you ever take a picture at something really happy, maybe it's like your kids when they were little, and just the memories, and yeah, it's a little bit of sadness for the time gone, but there's overall feelings of just like you remember that day. Or maybe it's you remember being so happy that day, and maybe you went to Disney, maybe it was, just out in the backyard and it was barbecue, or your graduation or something big, or your wedding day, the day you had your baby. Whatever this big moment was, and every time you look at it, you kind of remember that. That's magic. That's the magic I'm talking about. That's the magic that you're gonna get looking at your grimoire later and just looking at that page. I watched this woman, I think it was on Instagram. I don't remember the name. It's a pretty popular page, and she does like junk journaling, and it's like ASMR because you just hear the sounds of the paper and the stamps and the writing and all that, and it's quick, and it's always like a beautiful page. And I have seen in the comments almost on all of her videos, well, what do you do with this? What do you do with this? Why? So you just do it just to look at it? Like, a lot of people just have a hard time understanding, why do you set this up in this book and then what? And I feel bad for people who kind of think like that, because, like, do you not like art? Do you for the sake of it is why, for beauty's sake? Because when you look at that, honestly, or even if somebody does a flip through and they're showing it, the joy, the energy that you put into it when you created those pages, the crazy part about it is you experience it, but when you're sharing this with someone else, other people get the same feeling just looking at it. That's why. Because it's art, and we can. It's a thing we humans, and actually there's other people, not people, but other animals apparently are capable of art as well, or some variation of it. And we do it for the sake of it. It's an expression. It's love. That's why. Okay. And that was it. That was my list of things. Um, I hope that you guys found some of these helpful. I am so exhausted by the series of events, the breaking news, the things that are happening. And my intention is to be counter, counter to all of that. And I'm just trying to find ways that I can do that, that resonate, one, with myself, that align with who I am authentically, and hopefully with others. So we need love. This is a time, yes, action, fight, I get it, but it's got to come from a place of love. We see what happens when it comes from the opposite of just like fear, ignorance, and hate. We see what that power, it looks like. It doesn't benefit anybody overall. Um, it doesn't. But love, no, that's a different type of power. And what people have been able to do because of love for the generation to come, they don't even know, they're thinking about the grandchildren, they don't even know if they're going to have, and they're doing things, revolutionary acts, for the love of people they don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how powerful love is. um so, I wanted to take some time and kind of focus on love today, with the element of spring. But again, just to sort of recap, um, the Book of Shadows, the Grimoires, they're available at leaptaken.com. So I'm selling them direct. They're also still on Amazon, and I'm on a TikTok shop. So they're there as well. I got a couple commercials. Leap Taken is on TikTok, by the way, if you didn't know. So they're there. So you can get all of them there. The other thing I want to just remind you is my Practical Magic course, or class, I should say, for advanced witches. It will be recorded. So if you're participating, um, it is recorded, and you'll have that. I'll just send those emails after we're done, within about 24 hours after we're done with the class. We're going to explore advanced practical magic, protection spells, practical tools, magic habits, and more. It's a lot of information I'm going to cover there. Just remember, Aphrodite is a love goddess, but is also the goddess of war, plus her partner is the god of water. Exactly. Um, yeah, there is, don't, through media stories and just over time, the concepts of love have been corrupted to mean basically just basically something soft, something not very powerful, something very light. Um, but it's a mighty thing to do things. with love, from the place of love. Another thing, just to sort of wrap up, spring's a perfect time to bloom in your own power. You are worthy of your own love. You're worthy of your dreams. You're allowed to fall deeply in love with the life that you're building. This is something that I tell myself, so I'm sharing this with you guys. All right, so April 4th, the class is this Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can register at leaptaken.com if you're interested there. Also, I offer a host of services as well as there. So I will be back on Friday. I'm still going to do the live. Um, and then, of course, I'll switch gears a few hours later and do the class. But you can register up until Friday, by the way. So feel free to do so. I thank you all. Don't forget to like the video because that helps here. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the join button. You can join Leap Taken membership. There are wonderful perks like 40% off. You can have 40% off of the class. But and everything else, by the way, over the website. And yeah, I think that's all. Okay, I'm gonna go have another cup of tea and speak some more affirmations to myself today. All right, bye everybody.